sound emitted by a spaceship during its landing phase in the very same clearing where I was compelled to go on that fateful night of September 12, 1981, when I was forcibly taken away.
We are in the countryside around Vercelli, and it is here that this man, Maurizio Cavallo, claims to have experienced an incredible event 27 years ago that changed and disrupted his peaceful life, made of work and family in a provincial town. Cavallo is said to be one of about 500 people in Italy who believe they have been abducted by extraterrestrial beings and have undergone what in ufological terms is called an abduction. Everything would have started here in what back in 1981 was a clearing in the woods. This right here is exactly the spot where the abduction occurred.
It happened.
Night?
That night, after going to a pizzeria with friends, we came here to the hill, and in this clearing, all of a sudden, without any warning, the sky was streaked in a most unexpected way by a magnificent fireball and a bright glowing sphere that stopped above those trees over there, just beyond the grove of trees, and started to descend very slowly, almost gracefully. In our curiosity and wonder, we tried to go towards the place where this strange, mysterious object seemed to have disappeared, naturally curious now about what had just happened. It's noteworthy to mention that the place has changed over time. The ground was much further in at that time, so after a while we gave up.
But a few hours later, back home on horseback, something incredible happens.
From that very moment onwards, something incredible and unexplainable began to happen. I started to feel strange. I started to feel physically unwell, until I felt a powerful feeling. Something inside me psychologically and emotionally urging me to regain the road, or I mean to leave the house immediately and return all of a sudden to this place. It almost felt like an obsession I couldn't resist. So I took the car even though I was against my will. And returning back up the road I had traveled earlier, specifically taking the hill road, which was the same path as the night before, I made my way back to this place. It was as if a mysterious force guided me here.
And what happened here and here?
Something truly terrifying happens in that moment, because suddenly, looming above my head, at a height of perhaps less than 20 meters, maybe closer to 15, a massive, gigantic ball of fire appeared, menacingly hovering over me. But something worse was about to happen, because I suddenly felt light, and with terror, I realized I was no longer touching the ground. I was being pulled up and found myself sucked into this.
From that moment begins a journey that feels like a dream in a totally unknown world.
I found myself in what was then, through the voice that crossed my mind.
Seppi di essere in una base sotterranea, una base aliena, posta in Amazzone. Lì vedi per la prima volta una figura di un essere umanoide e udì ancora la stessa voce che gli diceva benvenuto. And if you don't turn, you won't die. Nothing will happen to you.
I even thought I was dead. I thought I was dead and living a post-death experience.
I woke up just a few meters away from this mysterious thing while I was asleep. I found myself in a deep slumber at that moment. It must have been around 8 in the morning, I guess, because the sun was rising.
A
A life that in a few hours is turned upside down, shattered by an event that is difficult if not impossible to explain and demonstrate not only to others but first of all to oneself. Was it an event that shook your life? Shook?
Life certainly shook my very existence in ways I couldn't have imagined. I lost what all humans naturally cherish and hold dear: family and work that provide identity. I spent almost 10 years in complete abandonment, in solitude, and in great confusion. I thought I was crazy. I couldn't understand what had happened.
The kidnapping that occurred on the night of September 12, 1981, for this man was just the beginning of a new life. Contacts with aliens would continue and are said to continue to this day. These are said to be photographs taken by himself of the extraterrestrial spacecraft during some encounters, and here are the faces of the mysterious visitors.
This is a fairly recent photo, one that captures in detail the appearance of one of these beings with whom I have ongoing contact. Taking these photos became an essential task for me, as they served as a crucial reminder, ensuring that I remained convinced, reassuring myself through physical evidence that, even though this reality was completely alien, absolutely absurd, and utterly foreign to my understanding, it was nevertheless a tangible reality. I was not losing my mind or descending into madness.
What did this sound correspond to when she recorded it?
The sound emitted by a spaceship during landing.
Listen instead to this recording.
Did she recognize these voices as beings she meets? Yes.
Also because they clearly say they are Clarion's children.
It's hard to be believed when talking about experiences that go beyond the reality known by all. But whatever the event that marked him, Maurizio Cavallo carries with him certainties that have changed how he approaches life.
They told me that death does not exist, that the concept of death as we understand it is merely a construct that stems from the limits of human perception. Essentially, death is the unawareness of our inherent eternal nature, something we are all part of beyond physical existence. It's a fear, deeply ingrained and typical of humans, facing the unknown and the intangible truths that extend beyond our mortal experience.
Maurizio Cavallo has come to visit us. Good evening. We thank you for your availability. Listen, the first thing you need to do, I say this without irony and without being offensive, is to convince the audience that watched us. The segment is undoubtedly very fascinating, that you are not crazy, you have experienced these things and have rationalized them, right?
It is not possible to convince anyone.
I can only, with sincerity and by expressing myself, the complex individual I truly am, say that I was indeed the very first person to honestly think of myself as completely crazy in the most genuine sense.
27 years have passed, and today I am absolutely certain in my heart that what happened, even though it was at the borders of our reality and stretched beyond the limits of our rational logic, really happened. There exists an unimaginable reality that defies what we thought we knew. I can convince you, and the photos like these.
Photos, how do you take them? Who takes them? How does the context in which you take these photos occur? I'm simply curious. No.
Scientific.
No.
The photos seem to have emerged from a deeply personal necessity, a profound need of mine. In the beginning, I found myself needing to convince myself that what was unfolding around me was not merely a dream or some figment existing only in my mind. So,
Brought it to the camera. I asked if I could
I asked if I could take the photos, if I could photograph. I was allowed. These gentlemen understand your language, they understand all the languages of our globe, of our planet, because as they told me, according to their information, they've known us for millions of years.